there, welcome to Polygon Wyckoff technical analysis session. So Polygon has defended successfully a support line. Basically, we're at the bottom edge of this upward channel box. So let's see where it's heading and whether there are any time points that the charts are hinting us. So if we look at this over here, just shrink it by a little, that's what I'm talking about. So the price tested the bottom edge of this upward channel box and successfully rebounded to the current level of around 24 cents. And basically, if this keeps on to towards this the right hand side upwards, there is a time point at so far mid-January, although it can definitely doesn't wait for that to happen and bounces up all the way to the ceiling of this upward channel box. Reason is it looks like we're heading to the mid-late stage of the accumulation already. So while the chance for a test, I mean the price coming down for a test, still exists, it seems like it's pretty low, especially this week, the bounce that happened over here. So we're still keeping a positive view where the price is heading. So this is basically entering a new distribution cycle. However, also I mentioned a couple of times, this downward trend line is something that we need to pay attention to, assuming it really enters a new distribution cycle but then got rejected at this yellow dashed line. That's another occasion where it's confirming a declining peak situation. So we've got one peak over here in March 2024 and another peak about a year or 13 months ahead, like in the history, back in 2023. This was even more crazy. The buying climax basically was sitting somewhere in the middle of this long-term playground zone. So we definitely don't want to see that happen again, because it looks like if the price continues to trade sideways, edging towards this white line over here, by the time it rises, it somehow get to the same level where this white line, the center line of the long-term playground zone, and this yellow dashed line crosses. So it's forming a dual or double resistance right over there. So it is really tricky. But then that's April next year. It's still too early to tell now how quickly this would break outside of this channel box and should basically deviate from this slope and gets into a more crazy slope and heads towards the buying climax. And what I'm trying to say was, the buying climax vector goes above this yellow dashed line, breaking this downward trend. So to indicate to whoever supporting Polygon that the long-term speculative value of Polygon is still there. Ideally, it should go at least hit this top edge of the long-term playground zone, much like what happened in 2024. That's the wishful thinking. Whether or not it can happen, or whether it's going to end up at this point, we still have to wait for a few months to find out. Let's take a look at the closer or nearer time frame when you look at the daily. So this daily chart right over here, we're seeing this climb. Unfortunately, it's short-lived. Instead of edging towards the upside, it comes back down, tested the bottom edge, and fortunately it found support, and then now it's reclining, heading back towards the ceiling, heading north. So it's time to adjust this box as well, because this price, the wicks, basically fell outside of the box. So sometimes when that happens, we have to adjust the channel box to make sure it reflects the latest trajectory. So the center line has to be adjusted as well. It still remain pretty much the same, where we find the most frequent trading activity somewhere in the middle. So by that I'm meaning, so these bunch of candles, and then a lot of these candles, either the heads or tails, touches this line that becomes the center line. It doesn't necessarily cuts the box in half. It can be skewed to one side or the other if that's what the trading activities are. So I'm just checking if this is the backup last point of support, then it wouldn't have come down here. So I would say we keep this right over here, but then definitely this was another test. And spring still at a lower chance. The good thing is we still have higher highs and higher lows, so that's a good sign. Continue to build up towards the distribution cycle. Let's check the Bollinger Band current squeeze as well. Yeah, after the squeeze, the energy got released, and then now it's trying to form another wave. Not much too special for Polygon. We're still waiting for it to break to the upside. If it really trades within this triangle, I don't think it would, because it already broke above the white line a few days earlier. So if I enlarge this, these bunch of candles in the beginning of September already told us it's not going to wait till this gap over here, this triangle over here. But obviously it can test a few more rounds before the actual breakout. This, where bottom edge crosses the white line, is near the end of January. So hopefully we don't have to wait that long for the breakout to happen. Just to quickly go back to the weekly and see where it's heading. Yeah, the weekly itself seems also pretty healthy. This hasn't happened yet. It's probably going to happen sometime later, maybe November or December time. It all depends on how October develops. So unfortunately it's a bit of a wait for Polygon. It's still taking its time to finish its accumulation cycle, but then the latest movement is still showing healthy sign that it's staying within the upward channel. So that's a good sign for the bullish views community. So let's continue to keep an eye on and see where it's heading. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next session.